Hello everyone, it's Shanna. Now I'm working on my first full set of KCC 14. And if you caught my recent short video, you'll know that I ink smushed a bunch of 6 panels for my 15, my set of 15 that I'm going to do. And so I've kind of got a rainbow selection of panels that I have used the cutting guide for and cut them up. Now these pink ones are my first 6x6 panel, and the pink were not my favorite ink smushed panels. I am going to use them as pink on I think this one and the next one, and then you'll notice when I add them, when they're mixed with other panels, I'm going to ink blend them a little bit more and use them for that. So right now what I'm doing is just gluing them down on this purple because I need to have a nice little trimmed edge on there. And so I just laid them on there, glued it down, and I'm just taking my Tim Holtz scissors and I'm just cutting that nice little border edge around there, and I'm going to get it laid down on there. And that worked out really nice. I was also thinking I could have used some of my Love from Lizzie stickers and edged them out with that, but I decided since I'm using this Pink and Main kit that I would use the Pink and Main cardstock that came with it. Now this pattern paper that is on here is from Pink and Main, and it is so much fun. I love it. It's like watercolored bubbles, and we've got all different colors in there, and it's just a very playful, fun paper pack. So, and here I'm going to bring in just a gold frame, and I've got some more of that purple Pink and Main cardstock, and I'm going to layer it on top of the gold frame, and I'm going to bring in one of the Pink and Main sentiments. And I've kind of mixed a couple of my Pink and Main Crafty Courtyard kits. I'm using the paper from one and some of the sentiments from another, and I'm just making good use of those Crafty Courtyard kits with this set. And Pink and Main is one of our super sponsors. I should mention that as well. And so I'm using, their products in this video. So I think that said thinking of you. Now my second one, for sketch 2, I'm going to use some of that pink paper again. And I think I might even blend it up, I think. I'm looking at my panel. I'm going to get it laid down and just look at, it's double-sided, and just look how fun that is and the different colors that are in there, and it's just super fun. And so I'm going to do the same thing using the Pink and Main cardstock and glue them down and trim them up. But before I do that, I'm just bringing in my purple blending brush that probably has some purple ink on it, and I'm blending them up and adding a little bit of purple to that. I decided I didn't have enough ink on there, and I'm just going to blend some more in. And I'm doing that because of that purple tone that is on that Pink and Main pattern paper, and I like that better. And we've got the some pink and some purple and some blue and kind of a gold tone on there. But I'm going to use this blue paper here from Pink and Main, and this is going to be my little edge around my cut paper. And I'm just going to lay them there together and try to save as much of that blue paper as I can. I'm a hoarder of cardstock, and so I try to maximize my use of it. So I'll just cut this, and that will allow me to save kind of a corner of that panel so that I can use it for die cutting or other things. So I'm just going to trim this up so I have a nice little edge on there to trim it out, and we'll assemble the pieces for sketch 2. And this one's kind of fun. You've got a lot more of that base pattern paper showing there, so you can see quite a bit of that design on that pattern paper. And I'm just going to glue it up and lay it down. And I've got a little bit of an edge there, so I'm just going to trim it off and just kind of clean it up a little bit. And then here I've got this Hello Friend sentiment, and this was another Pink and Main sentiment. And I'm just going to add a little bit of purple to it and just kind of tone down that white a little bit. And then we'll get this. I'm cleaning it off, trying to clean my ink off there. And I'm just going to bring some more of that thin foam tape and just get this little sentiment popped up. And then this will pretty much take care of card sketch 2. Lay that down on there. And I think I bring in some embellishments. I've got a bunch of Pink and Main embellishments here, and I'm just going to open up this pack that I hadn't opened. I've got 3 kits that still have quite a lot of material left in, and so I'm making it a point that I'm going to try and use as much of this stuff as possible and make good use out of my Crafty Courtyard kits. And I had a lot of fun ink smushing those panels. I did all 6 of them at once. And then this is when we really get into some color, is when we start bringing in a variety of the colored panels. And I love this. I've got that teal cardstock from Pink and Main. I can't recall the name of it, and then I've got this pattern paper here that's got the yellow or the gold and the green and the teal on it, and I just think it's gorgeous. I love it. And I'm just going to trim my panel or my card base up, and then I'm going to bring in this panel. Now, as I'm working with this, I've got a shaker full cover sheet laying there beside it, and I thought I was going to use it, and I totally do not use it. I think I even just completely forget about it, and I just keep going with the card, so I won't wind up using that. And that happy birthday sentiment that's laying there, I had stamped and die cut that out in yellow, and I decide that I'm not going to use that yellow, and I actually go with a different sentiment. I've got a whole pile of these same sentiments stamped in different colors and die cut out and laying above the screen here. And so I just grab another one and use it. And it works out because I'm actually lay it on that yellow panel. And I don't think that yellow that I had laying there would have looked good on that. I think what I choose ultimately looks better. Now we've got some more of these pink panels that weren't my favorite. And I'm going to take a couple different colors of ink and just color them up because the red's not going to look good on that. And so I'm just going to blend those up and come up with something that I think will look good on there. And I think I decide that's the wrong color, so I go in and grab another color that's a little more teal looking, and I go over it with that, and then I decide to go with that for my pieces there. So I'm just going to line these up and try to get them laid out how they're supposed to be. And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I'm missing a piece. But one of the things that you do is when you trim that orange one off, you're going to add it to the other corner. And so I'm just trying to get it laid down to where I'll have enough to trim that off and have a piece for that corner. And the other thing I did wrong was I should have laid it on this pattern paper before I glued it to my yellow backer panel, because I'm going to have to get creative on my trimming. And you've probably seen me do this before because sometimes I get ahead of myself and I get them laid down before I trim them. So I'm just using that blue paper to create an edge so that I can see where I need to cut the panel. So if I've got that there, I kind of make a line for myself, and it helps keep me from cutting into that backer sheet that I've got on there. So I just had to get creative, and that's what I decided to do. And so I'm there now. I've got my orange piece that I cut off of there that I can put in the corner. I didn't think it was quite big enough. I don't know if I just didn't shift over far enough or what, but I've decided to cut this one in half, and that way I won't have to trim it. I got smart after I trimmed those other ones and figured out how I could trim it without having to cut on my edge line. So that's what I'm doing with the orange one as well. And then I'll just lay this blue one on there and the blue one up there. And I shouldn't have to trim this blue one, but I will trim the blue one up there like I did the others and just get it laid down, and then that will save me from having to try and cut on the edge. I've got ink all over my hands now from ink blending that panel. So now I'm just going to lay it down on my card base. Put that craft knife up so I don't cut myself. I've had some craft room accidents with that thing, and it's not fun. So I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to bring in my sentiment, which is thank you, and I'm going to get it laid down on there. I'm going to pop it up with a little foam tape, and that'll just add a little bit of dimension to our card. And I'm making sure I get every little nook and cranny of that thing popped up. I've got a little bit of foam peeking out there, and we'll just get this laid down on there. And I really like this card. This is, I think, one of my favorites out of the 5 that I've done here. I think I like all those different colored panels on there. I'm just bringing in some more of those embellishments. I'm laying them down. And there's my next sketch. So we're going to move on to our sketch 4, and this one's kind of fun too. You're going to do a landscape, and we're still using the green and the gold and a little bit of orange, and it's really pretty. And I've got green and yellow ink blended panels, and I'm showing you that I didn't use that one that I had laying there. And I'm just going to get this glued down. And then I've got another one of those pink panels, and it's not going to look right, so I'm going to ink blend it as well. So I'm just trying to figure out this sketch. And then that yellow one kind of takes me a minute to figure out how I'm going to lay it. And I need to flip it, for one thing. And then I get that figured out, and then I can line them up and figure out how I'm going to lay them down on there. There we go. Now we've got it. Okay. And I'm double checking. I'm like, is that the right one? Is this how it's supposed to go? And I'm trying to figure out. And I just decide to cut it and then lay it down on there. So I'll just glue that up, and I'll make that the line where we line everything up, and we'll just go from there. So I don't think I probably did this sketch exactly perfect, but you know, these sketches are just a starting off point. They're just to give you a guide and, you know, kind of give you somewhere to start when making your cards. And I love that. It's fun. So I'm going to get all these laid down on here. I didn't have enough glue on that one. And just push them down. Then I'm going to just bring my scissors in and just cut them off. And then we'll have a nice little design on the front of our card. I think that's fun. Now we're going to have to go back to this pink panel, and I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So I'm going to bring in some of my green ink, and I'm just going to ink blend this panel up, try to cover up most of the pink, and just get it in a color that's going to blend well with what we've got laying there. And I think that blends really well. And so this one is a really fun colored card as well. So I'll just get some glue on there, get this glued down, we'll trim it up, and then we'll get our sentiment added to this one as well. And I had, I think I'm using one of those teal green colored stamped sentiments, and I'm going to get it laid down on there. And I've got Hello Friend, and then I've got Thinking of You, and I'm going to use the green and the yellow. And I thought that'd be fun just to add a little interest and do something a little bit different. And I will pop both of those up as well. And if you hear my stomach, it has been growling this entire video. I'm going to have to get something to eat. So I was bragging the other day on a video how I was doing my voiceover outside because it was just too fabulous and too nice to be inside. And it was. And we had a couple of really good days of, I don't know, 70-degree weather. And then today we had snow. It didn't last. It didn't stick to the ground or anything. But, oh my gosh, snow. Anyway, I wasn't even paying attention, and my grandson had said, it's raining out. And I looked over, and it was raining, but it very quickly turned into like a snow mix. And I was like, oh, great. So we weren't able to play outside at all today. We did have library, so that was fun. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my next sketch, and you can see I've got another one of those panels in which I had my printer messed up and it pixelated, and I got all those colors laid down on there, so I just die cut it out so I could lay it on this card. When I saw it, I thought it'd almost go with all the colors that are on the card panel, but I didn't decide to use it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm just going to get this popped up and get it laid down on here. This is a real simple card sketch. This is another one of them that uses LV's Easy Wonder Die 1 piece, and it's got the nice stitched edges on it, and it's makes for a nice little element on this, and I thought the ink blended panel was really pretty. And I will tell you, that die, I wondered how the die would do because I used Canson watercolor paper, and then I did all that wetting and inking of the panel, and then it dried, and I wondered how well it would die cut out with the Easy Wonder Die 1, and it cut out just fine. It just cut out perfectly. So here's all 5 cards, and I thought they turned out really fun. I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.